At this time, I'll call the 2022 organization meeting of the Board of Supervisors to order. Mrs. Clary, would you lead us in a prayer?
Yes, thank you. Let us pray. As we enter into this new year, let us be hopeful that there is a year full of brighter days ahead, more opportunities to continue our work together for the common good, for our communities and residents, for our dedicated team of professionals in our county workforce, and the many who trust in us to support their needs. As we look to the year ahead optimistically, may we not forget the challenges we and those in our communities have faced over the last few years. May we keep in our hearts our lost community members and those who have lost loved ones, our teachers and students who have seen drastic changes in the way they've learned and adapted as best they could. And everyone in our communities as a whole, as all of our lives have changed in the past 2 years. As a community, may we recognize the amazing work our public health and healthcare professionals have done throughout these trying times, working tirelessly to keep our communities as safe and healthy as possible. We can show our appreciation for their time and efforts by following their guidance, being responsible for our own health, and respectful to everyone we encounter. May we be thankful for the opportunity and honor to continue leading our great county and dedicated staff in our many departments, representing the communities and residents of Washington County with pride. Amen.
Chair O'Brien.
Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In case of fire or other emergency, there are 3 exits of this room, there, and there. In case of said emergency, please go to the nearest exit, find the nearest stairway, exit the building, and get as far away from the building as possible so that emergency squads and rescue squads can do their job. If you need assistance, please contact us and we'll be more than willing to help you. Please silence your cell phones if needed. Thank you.
I'll now call the roll. Mr. Hankey.
Here.
Mrs. Fedler.
I'm here.
Mr. Ferguson.
I'm here.
Mr. Shaw.
Here.
Mr. Hall.
Here.
Mr. Fisher.
Here.
Mr. Hicks.
Here.
Mr. Nolan.
Here.
Mr. O'Brien.
Here.
Mr. Happ. Mr. Campbell.
Here.
Mr. Skelly.
Here.
Mr. Hogan. Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Mrs. Clary. Here. Mr. Griffith.
Here.
Mr. Rozell.
Here.
Okay, the first order of business will be the election of Chairperson of the Board of Supervisors for 2022. And at this time, I'll ask for nominations from the floor. Mr. Skelly?
Yes, I would nominate Sam Hall for chairman.
Is there a second to the nomination?
I'll
Seconded
second
by
it.
Supervisor Fedler, Wilson, Fisher, Griffith, Campbell, Clary, and Ferguson, and Mr. O'Brien, and Mr. Nolan. Are there any other nominations? There being no other nominations, motion to close the nominations would be in order. Motion to close the nominations by Mr. Hicks, seconded by Mr. Campbell and Mr. Ferguson. All those in favor of closing the nominations signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The nominations have been closed. Voting on the election of Samuel J. Hall as Chairman of the Board of Supervisors for 2022. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Mr. Hall, if you'd like to come to the front of the chambers, and Judge Pritzker will administer the oath of office.
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I Samuel J. Hall,
I, Samuel J. Hall,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Chairman of the Board of Supervisors
of the office of the Board of Supervisors, Chairman,
in and for the County of Washington,
in and for the County of Washington,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
And then I'd like to read this last little thing that people don't think you have to, but let's do it, right?
Okay.
And I do further solemnly swear or affirm
And I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I have not directly or indirectly,
that I have directly or indirectly,
not directly or indirectly,
not directly or indirectly,
paid, offered, or promised to pay,
paid, offered, or promised to pay,
contributed, or offered, or promised to contribute
contributed, offered, or promised to contribute
any money or other valuable thing
any money or any other valuable thing
as consideration
as consideration
or a reward
or a reward
for the giving or withholding
for the giving or withholding
of a vote
of a vote
at election
at election
at which I was elected
at which I was elected
to said office,
to said office,
and have not made any promise
and have not made any promise
to influence the giving or withholding of any such vote.
to influence the giving or the holding of any such vote.
Excellent. Congratulations, Sam. You see, we got through that.
Thank you, Jeff.
Right there, yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you, everyone. And the next thing on our agenda would be the election of the vice chairman for 2022. Do we have a nomination? Supervisor Hicks.
I'd like to nominate Robert Henke.
Robert Henke has been nominated by Supervisor Hicks. Do we have any seconds?
I would like to second Mr. Henke.
Seconded by, Mr. Skelly, Mr. Fisher, Mr. O'Brien, Mr. Rozell, Mr. Campbell, Mr. Hogan, Mr. Griffith, Ms. Fiddler, Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Ferguson. Are there any other seconds? Okay. Seeing none, are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations?
I make a motion to close nominations.
Motion is made to close nominations.
Second.
Do we have a second? Supervisor Griffith? Is there any discussion? Okay, the nominations have been closed. All in favor of Robert Henke as vice chairman for 2022, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, and swear Mr. Bobbin as well. Mr. Henke? Judge?
Yes.
Please. Bob, you come forward, please.
Thank you. That's your left hand, raise your right hand, and you're gonna repeat after me, okay? I, Robert A. Henke.
I, Robert A. Henke.
Do solemnly swear or affirm
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Vice Chairman of the Board of Supervisors
of the office of Vice Chairman of the Board of Supervisors
in Floyd County of Washington,
in Porter County, Washington,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
And I do further swear
And I do further swear
that I have not directly or indirectly
that I have not directly or indirectly
paid, offered, or promised to pay,
paid, offered, or promised to pay,
contributed, or offered, or promised to contribute
contributed, or offered, or promised to contribute
any money or other valuable thing as a consideration
any money or other valuable thing as a consideration
or reward for the giving or withholding of a vote
or reward for the giving or withholding of a vote
at election at which I was elected
at election at which I was elected
to said office,
to said office,
and I have not made any promise
and I have not made any promise
to influence the giving
to influence the giving
or withholding of any such vote.
or withholding of any such vote.
Congratulations, Bob.
I guess beeswax candles don't count. You guys are invaluable.
I must be right.
Those things are invaluable. Yeah.
Damn it, you got me to sign the block.
It's a penny.
I know.
A lawyer trick.
They blame Debbie. She gave me the pen. I just wanted to say for a minute that it's such a pleasure and an honor to be up here. I appreciate you asking me to do this today. I know all of you, and you do such a great job. The invitation that Supervisor gave was wonderful. I agree with everything you said. And I think we ought to be proud of ourselves and certainly our people. We're doing such a great job. It's a challenging time. So again, thanks for having me up here. Congratulations, Chairman. Congratulations, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
See everybody soon, all right? Thank you. Maybe we have next summer and we'll have
Okay, semi-organized again here. So now we'll have the introduction of the resolutions and the consideration of the resolutions. Yep.
Okay. Resolution number 1 by Supervisor Hall, titled to fix bond of chairman and vice chairman.
I will move that motion. Do we have a second? Second by Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Rozelle, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Ferguson. And did I miss someone? Supervisor O'Brien. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signal by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 2 by Supervisors O'Brien, Hicks, Fedler, Ferguson, titled Reappoint Clerk of the Board.
It is my honor to move resolution number 2, reappointing the clerk of the board. She's been a valuable asset to the county for many, many years, and we hope it continues.
Thank you, Supervisor O'Brien. Do we have seconds? Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Fisher, Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Skelly, Supervisor Hicks, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Campbell, Supervisor Hogan, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Griffith, Supervisor Rozelle, and I don't believe I've missed anyone. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. Resolution number 3 by Supervisors O'Brien, Hicks, Fedler, Ferguson, titled to reappoint county attorney.
Mr. Chairman, it's my pleasure to introduce a resolution to reappoint the county attorney. The county attorney has served the county faithfully for many, many years, and we hope it continues.
Moved by Supervisor O'Brien. Do we have any seconds? Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Fisher, Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Skelly, Supervisor Hicks, Supervisor Rozelle, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Griffith, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Campbell, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Hogan. I think we got them all. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 4 by Supervisors O'Brien, Hicks, Fedler, Ferguson, titled reappoint county administrator.
Mr. Chairman, again, it's my pleasure to introduce a resolution to reappoint the county administrator. Melissa's been a county administrator for a year, and she certainly has had a challenging year, and we hope that it's less challenging this year because we hope this year is different this year.
Motion made by Supervisor O'Brien. Do we have seconds? Seconded by Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Fisher, Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Skelly, Supervisor Hicks, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Hogan, Supervisor Campbell, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Griffith. I don't believe I missed anyone. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signal by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 5 by Supervisors Half, Hogan, Hicks, O'Brien, Clary, titled to reappoint public defender.
Mr. Chairman,
Do we
moving
have a
resolution
motion on
number
that?
5, please.
Thank you, Supervisor Hogan. Do we have any seconds? Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Griffith, Supervisor Campbell, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Fisher, Supervisor Skelly, Supervisor Clary. I don't believe I missed Supervisor O'Brien, Supervisor Nolan. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 6 by Supervisor Henke, titled to appoint budget officer.
Mr. Chairman, moving resolution 6.
Moved by Supervisor Henke. Seconds, please. Supervisor Fisher, Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Skelly, Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Griffith, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Hogan, Supervisor O'Brien. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 7 by Supervisor Campbell, title appoint county auditor and deputy county auditor.
Moving resolution number 7.
Moved by Supervisor Campbell. Do we have seconds, please? Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Rozelle, Supervisor Griffith, Supervisor Hogan, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Clary. And I think that's it. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 8 by Supervisor Campbell, title to pay Soil and Water Conservation District Board.
Moving resolution number 8.
Moved by Supervisor Campbell. Do we have seconds, please? Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Skelly, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Rozelle. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 9 by Supervisor Campbell, title appropriation Washington County Extension Service.
Moving resolution number 9.
Moved by Supervisor Campbell. Any seconds? Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Skelly, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Ferguson. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 10 by Supervisor Campbell, title to designate depositories.
Moving resolution number 10.
Moved by Supervisor Campbell. We have second. Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Rozelle. Seeing no other seconds, is there any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 11 by Supervisors Hicks, O'Brien, Skelly, Clary, Griffith, title amend the staffing pattern sheriff.
Mr. Chairman, moving resolution 11.
Moved by Supervisor Hicks. Do we have a second? Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Fisher, Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Skelly, Supervisor O'Brien, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Griffith, and Supervisor Campbell. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 12 by Supervisors Hicks, O'Brien, Skelly, Clary, Griffith, title amend staffing patterns for DSS.
Mr. Chairman, moving resolution 12.
Moved by Supervisor Hicks. Do we have seconds? Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Fisher, Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor O'Brien, Supervisor Rozelle, Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Griffith, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Campbell, Supervisor Clary. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 13 by Supervisors O'Brien, Hicks, Fedler, Ferguson, title to adopt weighted voting plan pursuant to 2020 census.
Mr. Chairman, moving resolution number 13.
Moved by Supervisor O'Brien, and we'll have a roll call, please. I didn't get a second, did I? I apologize for that. Seconds. Supervisor Fisher, Supervisor Campbell, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Ferguson. Seconds. All right. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, we will now call for a roll call. Thank you, Deb.
Mr. Henke?
Yes.
Mrs. Fedler?
yes,
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Hicks?
Yes.
Mr. Nolan?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Skelly?
Yes.
Mr. Hogan?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Clary? Yes. Mr. Griffith?
Yes.
Mr. Rozell?
Yes.
The resolution is adopted, 4,094 yes, 166 absent. Resolution number 14 by Supervisors O'Brien, Hicks, Fedler, Ferguson, titled to reaffirm the rules of the Board of Supervisors for 2022.
Mr. Chairman, moving resolution number 14.
Okay, we have a motion by Supervisor O'Brien to move it. Do we have seconds? Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Fedler. Supervisor Campbell. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye. 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 Opposed? Carried. So next on the agenda will be our supervisor comments. Do any supervisors have any comments at this point in time? Going once? Going twice? And the third time I still see no one. Okay. So, at this point in time, I would like to, ask the Supervisor O'Brien if he would, serve next year as the Sergeant at Arms, please.
With pleasure.
And I would like to ask, Supervisor Clary if she would again serve as our chaplain.
Yes, Chairman, thank you.
Thank you. And the further committee assignments, I still have some people to reach out to on this, now that I've been reelected, and I will, have those out at, Thursday, Friday at the very latest. And in the interim, if there's any specific committees anybody would like to serve on, please reach out to me, and we'll see if we can work it around so we can get you into committees you want to be on and still keep our balance that we have to have by certain things by our rules that we have to go by here at the board rules. All right, I would like to thank everybody for once again giving me the privilege of serving as the chairman of the board. I know this has been a very trying 2 years, the last couple of years. And I certainly have appreciated all your support and cooperation and guidance along the way to do what we had to do to protect our employees and to protect the citizens of our community. We've all worked very diligently. You've all contributed significantly, as well as our employees, to make this a situation as good as it could be. And we were very fortunate that we came out fiscally much better than the counties, many of the other counties around us. And that was a lot because of not only employees' hard work, but because of your hard work on the Board of Supervisors. We want to thank you all. I want to welcome our newest member to our board, Nolan. Good to see you, Jim. Thank you. Hopefully, if we get going too fast here, let's slow us down so we can remember that you're new this year and we want to work so that you understand what we're doing. Okay? You are welcome.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. O'Brien.
So, you missed us speak up earlier. I would like to talk about the passing of someone who was very instrumental in health in Washington County, Warren County, and her name was Susan Perry, Hampton resident, native. She was a nurse for many, many years at Rutland Hospital as well as at Glens Falls Hospital. Again, she had a passion for education. She taught many, many thousands of nurses. And ACC have gone around to help spread her message and her way of working with patients. She has, in her dedication to education, she spent many years on the Granville School Board, as well as being involved in town events, planning board, and other things to assist with the town. She was reached out, and it's rare to find a person who, through their activities in healthcare and nursing, has touched so many people through her patients and through the nurses she taught.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. Is there anything else to come before the board at this time?
Tim wants to.
Tim?
Mr. Hardy would like to update on the test kit distribution. He sent you a chat asking to do it after the meeting was over, but since you're all going to be here and listening to it, that's not the end of the meeting.
Good time to do it.
So we'll just continue on with what we're doing and have them brief you so we don't commit any open meeting violation. Well, since since I'm still here, I guess So Tim, you're on.
Well, my only question is, Tim is on, is it because he doesn't want us to do something publicly, that he just wants the board, only the board to hear? I don't know.
Well, that required executive sessions.
Well, that's why I'm asking. He's on now.
I'm here. All right, good afternoon. So just a quick update. We are still awaiting our first test kit distribution, which you all have seen the community message updates that we've been putting out, the majority of which are going to the schools to support their employee testing and their test to stay program should they choose to do those. The other one is a community distribution, which is supposed to be coming possibly later this week. We're looking to do a couple initiatives with those, one of which will involve test kit distribution in each town. So what we wanted to do was touch base with all of the supervisors, and being the majority of you are here, rather than making a pile of phone calls, is just to ask, we're gonna take whatever the allocation is and keep a percentage of that to get out to every town. So that would be able to be distributed at your town hall to your own town residents. So you can limit that to your town residents to ensure that some test kits make it back to your town. You know, we feel as if we've done a huge distribution here, a lot of it would be taken up, and certainly other towns wouldn't have the accessibility that they lack in some far reaching areas of the county. So as soon as we know what the number is going to be that we have left, we're going to break that down by population and reach out to each of you, if that's okay with you, to distribute some of those at your town. So we'll send your residents back to your town hall. You can coordinate with your town clerk. We just want to make sure that as many people get covered as possible. And then obviously we'll do some other initiatives. We're going to try to work with ADRC and Office for the Aging to do the senior groups. The problem is going to be the test kit number is not going to be anywhere near what we would hope population wise, but it's a start in at least moving us in the right direction. We're also hoping to get some guidance from the state on how our public health folks are supposed to handle these test results. There's no guidance from the state on that. So every county is doing it differently, which is creating a lot of difficult times for not only our public health folks, but the peoples in our community that just don't know what to do with those results either. So we're hoping that we'll have some kind of clarification with that as we move forward. So we will keep you all in the loop as we move towards the receipt of these test kits. We're hoping mid to late week. But if our initial batch is any indication, we still don't have it as of today. So that's it. Thank you.
Brian, question two. If in the event that like a certain area, whether it be a school or the Office of the Aging or one of our other towns is in need, are we allowed to share within towns? Do you know that, or will you know that as they come out?
Yeah, I mean, certainly you can. Just know that the number is not going to be high, at least this first batch that's coming that will go out to communities. So other than maybe one of the extreme larger towns, there won't be much to share, sadly enough.
Okay. Any other questions to Tim before he says goodbye? Great. Thank you, Tim, for the update. Okay, if there's nothing else to come before this organizational meeting, we stand adjourned. Thank you.